Hi, my name is Andrew Krop, and welcome to Film Music House in association with Perspective Forum presenting Put Your Best Cape Forward, crafting heroic main title themes. It's my privilege today to introduce award-winning composer and multi-instrumentalist Jeremy Turner, who's known for his score to Netflix's Immigration Nation, HBO's Natalie Wood documentary, What Remains Behind, and the Netflix original series Five Came Back. He is a two-time Emmy nominee, has won the Music and Sound Award, the International Documentary Associate Award, the AICP Award, has been named in NPR Music's Favorite Song of the Year, and recently received a Hollywood Music and Media Award nomination for his main title theme for Marvel's 616 on Disney+, which he is here to talk about today. For Marvel 616's main title, Jeremy had to not only create a super heroic theme that sounded 100% Marvel, but also had to leave a lasting impression that would keep audiences coming back and excited for each episode. He's going to walk us through how he approached creating the theme, give us a demonstration on how the instrumentations work together, and give advice on how you can put your best cape forward too. Take it up, up, and away, Jeremy.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Turner, and I'm here to give you a quick tour of the main title music for Marvel 616. I wrote this music about almost 2 years ago at my home studio, which is in Ojai, California. Today I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, hence my travel rig, which you'll see behind me. This was I think this was the final project that I completed before the pandemic. And so in late 2019, we actually got to go up to Skywalker. And the first time I heard the final mixed version of the main titles and saw the final picture was at the Stag Theater up there. So it was a pretty ideal situation to hear it all come together. A lot of people have asked me, what it feels like to get a call to write music for Marvel, and the answer is pretty obvious. It's a huge thrill. It can be, presumably daunting when you factor in, what the fans have come to expect, and and what the studio will demand, and all those things. But it's also really great because there's been so many, wonderful scores written for Marvel projects over the years. So you have this vast, archive of things to listen to and study and draw inspiration from. And so in some ways it was kind of like jumping into a river that's already flowing. I think, this project was somewhat unique in that when I wrote the main title music, there were no main titles to score to. There was no picture. So we had some initial conversations with the showrunners and Patrick Clare, who's the main title designer over in Australia. And so, we had some brief conversations about what it might look like and feel like, and what we were going for. But in some ways that made my job a lot easier because I didn't have to use tempo or any hit points or edits to back into. I could just compose freely. And the first sketch that I ended up writing ended up becoming the final version of Marvel 616 as it is today. And I know that's very rare, and I'm very lucky that I was able to hit a home run on the first pitch. But I think many composers will probably tell you that writing music for a main title is a bit like the musical equivalent of a elevator pitch. You've got to get in, state your case, make it exciting, make it fun, dangle the carrot a little bit, and then get out. And you hope that you make it great enough that in today's world of streaming and binge watching and stuff, that people won't just hit skip. But I think, when writing music for Marvel anyway, it's, for me, it has to have energy, a sense of grandeur. It's got to be heroic and anthemic and big and all those things. And the main title for this show is only about 40 seconds. So, you kind of have to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, to get your point across quickly. But for me, I broke it down into just, energy out of the gate. So meaning, rhythmic propulsion and underpinnings of an engine that's kind of driving things. And then obviously some big percussion, some brass fanfares to finish. A lot of things that you would come to expect from a big heroic main title theme. I think, it's funny to me, the easiest way to achieve all those things, even though there are, tons of fun synthesizers to play with these days, to me, when you're talking about Marvel and you're talking about superheroes, it's the orchestra. And fortunately for me, before I became a composer for film and television, I actually played in an orchestra in New York for 14 years. So I'm very familiar and comfortable with how an orchestra functions. And so I remember when I used to study scores back in the day, symphonies and operas and things like that, when you isolated certain sections, or even in rehearsal, when a conductor would ask, let's just have the woodwinds here to maybe tighten up the rhythm or the intonation or whatever it happened to be, when you could hear things isolated, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. It almost sounded avant-garde at times, or even atonal. And then when you put it all together and hear the final realized version, it all makes sense. So much like being in a kitchen, when a cook is preparing a meal, if you sample a couple ingredients, it's not, it might not make any sense. So what's been fun to do with this is isolating a couple of these sections. And so when you hear them out of context, it might not make any sense, but it's kind of fun to break it down a little bit. So the first thing I knew out of the gate was, like I said, it needed a lot of energy. So for me, that was quick notes, 16th notes in the violins and in the woodwinds. So if we isolate just the opening couple bars here, and add a couple woodwinds in there, it sounds like this. So you that's sort of your introduction. And then you add the percussion, which isolated almost sounds like high school band practice. I don't know. So it's kind of random, but then when you add the brass and all of that, it starts to make a little bit more sense. So that's kind of the opening section, and then in the middle here, we kind of change gears and crank up the intensity. Snare drums join, and there's a trumpet call and response with the violin section, and it grows and swells. And then, like with many Marvel themes, you've got to have a big finish. Jazz hands. So here we go for the big finish. And so yeah, when you put it all together, it's pretty exciting. And there you have it. There's the main title music for Marvel 616. Hope you enjoy.